Hello everyone, how are you all doing? I hope you're all well and I hope you're all excited as I am because FPL is officially back. Just a couple of minutes ago uh, they posted on Twitter that the game is live, so I was gonna do my reaction to the price reveals video for today, but I figured let's do a first draft video instead since the game is live. So let me just enter my team name. You guys know what the team name is. Hopefully it's not taken. It shouldn't be. And here we are. So 100 million, 15 players. Let's see. Let's start. So we're gonna start with the first player that's going to come in my team for this game week. So we're gonna start with the forward with the easiest pick. The first player in the team is obviously going to be Haaland. I don't need to explain much why that is the case. So he is a good price for Haaland on 40 million, but to be quite honest with you, I would have went with him no matter what price he was set at for the start of the season. Maybe later during the season we can think about transferring him out, and at some periods maybe going without him for a game week or two. But for the start of the season, he is going to be my first nailed player in my team. So he's straight in now, and he's most likely going to stay in my team for game week 1, unless he gets injured in before the deadline or something like that. So Haaland's in the team. Now I have one more player that I'm convinced is going to be nailed in my team from this moment until game week 1 starts, and that player is none other than Bukayo Saka. So he's my second nailed player in my team for game week 1. I think he's a little undervalued, so he's 8.5 million, which is super cheap for him. I rate this player quite a lot. I think he's a great player, and he is growing in confidence and in quality with every upcoming season, and I expect big things from him and from the whole Arsenal team for this season's Premier League. He's obviously on pens. He's absolutely nailed. He's the team leader of Arsenal, so yeah, at the price of 8.5 it's a no-brainer for me. The second nailed player in my team, so he's in. We have 2 spots filled, and the rest of the team is out for debate. So other than these 2 players, the rest of the spots I will play around during the preseason, and we'll switch some things around. We'll see some players will come in, other players will go out and all of that, depending on form of preseason form, depending on transfers and everything. So yeah, so let's continue with the uh, creating of the team. So let's put a defender in the team. So one defender that I think I would like to start the season with is going to be Stupinian from Brighton for 5 million. I think he's an amazing option at the set price for a couple of reasons. Let me just see if all the fixtures are still not in. Here they are. So he plays Luton at home game week 1, which is a great fixture for him obviously, and Wolves away is a decent one for a clean sheet as well. West Ham at home, and then in game week 4, which is not shown here, he has another home fixture. So 3 home fixtures in the first 4 game weeks. Plus, as you all know, he is super attacking. Last season he was pretty much playing as a left winger at some point. He was into the opponent's box most of the time. So yeah, I think he's a good defender for the start of the season, and I'm planning to start the season with him. by the way, I forgot to mention the formation that I'm going for is most likely going to be 3-5-2. I think there is a lot of value in the midfield, and I'm looking at mostly targeting good midfield players for my team at the moment. So maybe that will change. Maybe I will change to 4-4-2 or something, or maybe 3-4-3. But at the moment, like I said, the best formation I think is 3-5-2, and that's the formation I'm aiming at. So let's pick another player. Let's go for another midfielder, and I'm gonna go with Bruno Fernandes as my second midfield pick. Now this might sound a little weird to some of you. Now I will explain my reasoning behind this transfer. So Bruno Fernandes is 8.5 million for this season. So like I talked in my price reaction video, that's super cheap for him. I didn't expect him to drop that low. I expected him to be around 10 million, maybe 10.5, around the price where KDB is at. And I'm super shocked that he is saying 8.5. I think there is a huge season coming for Bruno Fernandes. And the reason for that is the fact that Man United are at the moment in the market for a striker. So what does that mean? In the last couple of seasons, Man United didn't really have that good strikers. So they had Weghorst. Last season they had Anthony Martial. The season before that, they had Cristiano Ronaldo, who didn't really link up that well with Bruno. So basically, Bruno has created loads of chances in the past couple of seasons for the striker, but Man United didn't really have a little striker till now, so that's why Bruno Fernandes was limited in a way. He didn't really get that many assists, but I think they are going to buy a striker this season. They are looking at Højlund from Atalanta at the moment, so if they buy him or some other striker, then I think Bruno Fernandes's assists, especially numbers, go super high. Plus he's on penalties, and I don't think that will change anytime soon. So at the price of 8.5, I think he's a great value player. Now if they don't sign a striker this summer, then I will go for Marcus Rashford instead of Bruno Fernandes, who is 0.5 more expensive, and in that case will probably play as the striker for Man United. So let's go for another defender. So Trent Alexander-Arnold, he's 8 million, and I like this price for this player. I think it gives us it forces us to think about it. It gives us a choice. Now I'm trying to decide whether or not I should start the season with him. In this draft, I'm gonna go without Trent Alexander-Arnold. They have Chelsea away in Game Week 1, which I think will be hard because Chelsea will have a new manager and it's going to be the first game of the season, so they are gonna be up for it. Now, Game Week 2 is going to be scary, fair enough, Bournemouth at home, but other than that, I should be good in the first couple of games. Newcastle away, it's gonna be hard for a clean sheet. Aston Villa generally play well against Liverpool, so that will be a hard fixture as well. And I'm not quite sure that Trent is going to continue in his midfield position, because now Liverpool bought a couple of midfielders, so possibly he's going to be back to his right back position. That's the reason why I think I might very likely start the season without him. Hopefully I won't get punished way too hard, and that's the plan at the moment. So let me just have a look at Luke Shaw. So Luke Shaw is one player that I think I will start the season with. He's 5.5 million. He plays Wolves at home in the opening game week. He has Nottingham Forest at home as well. Now Spurs away and Arsenal away are hard. but Luke Shaw is super attacking, and I think 5.5 is a very fair price for him. So I would add him in my team as well, and then I would add another defender from Arsenal probably, and I would go for Zinchenko, who is 5 million, so 0.5 cheaper than Ben White. And I think Zinchenko is nailed, and if you remember last season he played in that inverted midfielder role quite a lot, so kind of the same way like Trent did for Liverpool. So I think there is some value in this player as well. I might change at some point to Ben White or maybe some different defender, but I think he's good to stay in the team for now. And the big question is how many premiums should we get in our team for the start of the season. So Haaland is going to be one, and then the second one would be a choice between Salah and Harry Kane. So I like both of those players, but I don't think I can afford three premiums. Unfortunately, I will have to choose one of the two. Uh, let's just see what the team will look like with Harry Kane for the moment. Then we'll switch to Salah later on. So let's put Harry Kane in the team and have a look. So if Harry Kane is our second premium, then in the midfield I would get a slightly cheaper player, and this is one player that I'm looking to get in my team for the start of the season, and Mbeumo. He's 6.5 and he plays as a second striker for Brentford, who will be without Ivan Toney, so he might even be the first striker. We'll wait and see if they will buy some other player or not. And last season he was a striker in the game, so the fact that he switched to a midfield position makes him very interesting for me, and I would like to have him in my team for the start of this season. So let's add a 4 million defender, which is one thing I always do to just free up funds. So let me just try to remember. There was apparently a Burnley defender that is 4 million that is a starter, I believe. Let me just have a look. I'm not quite sure. I believe it is this guy, Bayer, but I would have to check later on. There is one from Luton Town as well, but obviously Burnley are a better team, so if this guy actually does start most of the games for Burnley, that I would like to have him as a bench option for 4 million. And we could also pick a slightly more expensive uh, defender for the price of 4.5. Now let me just have a look at the 4.5 defenders. So we have some Aston Villa defenders. Let's look at their fixtures. They are not too bad, to be honest. Gimmick 1 and Gimmick 4 are bad, but the rest could work. So Aston Villa could be an interesting team to get a defender from. Obviously we have, just 1 second, let me just check. Obviously we have a Newcastle defender, Botman, who is 4.5, so he's super cheap as well. It's simple to go with him in the team. 4.5 for a nailed Newcastle player. The problem is that I'm not sure I would start him in any of the first 5 fixtures. So Newcastle have probably the hardest run-in at the start of the season. So that's the reason why maybe I would go with an Aston Villa defender instead, or some other team, but Botman at some point during the season is going to come in my team most likely. So for now, let's add an Aston Villa defender. So it would either be Luka Dean or Matty Cash, or I'm sorry, it would rather be Minks or Matty Cash. I suppose I could add the Minks at the moment, but that could change in the future. So we have a set of defenders, quite cheap. So this draft is more attacking than defensive draft. So we're focusing more on the midfield and the attack. Now let's quickly grab a 4 million goalkeeper for the second goalkeeper's spot. It could be anyone, I don't know, there's probably not a single one here that is a starter for his team, so let's just add one of the Aston Villa goalkeepers for the moment, and let's find I would say let's see how many 5 million and below goalkeepers do we have. So Kepa is 5 million this season, okay, 0.5 more expensive than last season. We have the two Spurs keepers. I suppose they don't know who is going to be a starter, so they are both 5 million. And let's look at the 4.5 keepers. Who to add? Let me just have a look. I suppose if Man United don't buy a keeper and keep Henderson as a starting goalkeeper because the guy is leaving, I think then Henderson could be a very interesting option, but that's for the future down the line. There are not that many interesting 4.5 keepers, if I am honest. I would have to have a good look. Let's add the new Brighton keeper for the moment. I think he's going to be their starting goalkeeper, so this is the one, but I'm not sure about this one. It might very well change somewhere down the line. Now we have 3 more spots left, so let's add a striker for the bench as well. So there is a 4 million, no there isn't, so 4.5 million, some bench striker. Let's see here what we have. I mean, Connolly, no, he would take up a Brighton spot. Let's just add some random player. Let's add this guy from Bruno. He can just sit on the bench for now. And we have 13 million left for 2 midfield spots. So let's have a look. Obviously, I can't afford Salah if I keep Harry Kane. Or I could switch that around. We will see later on. So Phil Foden is an interesting option. He's only 7.5 million, so he's quite cheap, and I am looking at a Manchester City midfielder for the start of the season. I think Haaland is not going to be enough. I think they will have a strong start to the season based on the fixtures, and also maybe Phil Foden could be an interesting option considering the fact that De Bruyne is going to be injured, so he might play in the midfield. Plus, I think Riyad Mahrez is on his way out of the team, and that would free up the right spot in the attack as well. So I think Phil Foden could be an interesting option for the beginning of the season, and we could have a couple of others as well. So let's add him for now, and we are left with 5.5 in the bank. So for the price of 5.5, let's see who we have here. There are a couple of interesting players, I think, at this price. We have some Brentford players. This Shada guy is interesting. Is an interesting option. Could be a potential. And Siko, he is 5.5. So great. So this is the last player that I would like to have in my team. So at the price of 5.5, he's an very good option, I believe. He had a very strong finish to last season, and I think I slightly prefer him over Mitoma and Solimarch at the moment. So I would also be interested in Ferguson possibly as Breton attacker, but I think Ensiko at the price of 5.5 is a great option, and I'm super happy to have him in the team. Now let me just check one more thing. So if we remove Phil Foden for the moment and let's try to add Salah. So if I decide to go with Salah, let me just remove Harry Kane. So come on, remove the player, god damn it. What's going on? What's this? Okay, so if we remove Phil Foden and if I add Salah in his place as my second premium option, and then I would have 7.5 for a striker. So in the price of 7.5 we have a couple of interesting strikers as well. So we have the Liverpool strikers, obviously, Cody Gakpo and Darwin Núñez. The problem with these two players is the fact that I'm not sure which one starts. I think Cody Gakpo is the preferred one, but I wouldn't be 100% sure. I think they will battle it out in between the two for the start of the season, and they will probably have they will be rotated around a lot, and so that's why I'm not sure if I should go for one of them. If one of them becomes a clear starter, then at the price of 7.5 he could be a very interesting option. But for the moment, let's get Nkunku from Chelsea as the second striker, even though he has lots to show in the preseason before I definitely decide to have him in my Game Week 1 team. I would have to look at some friendlies and see how it looks, but he's super cheap and I expect Chelsea to have a very solid start of this season. So let me just switch the players that are for the field with the ones that are for the bench. So yeah, this looks fine. The bench, yep, that's it. So here's my first starting 11 for this season. Now obviously I did this on the go. For most of the players I was deciding at the moment which players to get, and I didn't have anything pre-planned. So this is my first team. Tell me, first team for this season. Tell me what you think of it. I suppose I just noticed that I have a double Breton defense, so that's one thing that I should probably change. I would have to take another look at the goalkeepers and see if I can find a better option for the price of 4.5. And other than that, what do you think about this team? Do you like it? What should I change about it? And all of that. So please let me know, and yeah, I will see you around. Goodbye.